What's going on, y'all? I just wanted to say there is an audio issue in the video. My apologies for that. We did try to work around it, but this is noticeable. But with that being said, thank you for watching, and there's a big announcement at the end, so please stay tuned, and thanks again. Since the first NBA All-Star Game was held back in 1951, 453 players in the history of the NBA have been named to an All-Star team. While that may not seem like a lot, there have been about 4,800 people who have played in the NBA, meaning that if you were ever named an All-Star, you would join a privileged group of names that make up not even 1% of all players in history. Out of the 450 rostered players on a season-to-season basis, only 26.5 players on average get called to play as an All-Star, giving each player a 6% chance to become an All-Star before any additional factors. With that being said, while the names of the most decorated All-Stars throughout history have ranged from Kareem to Kobe to LeBron, we've also seen All-Star seasons from guys like Kyle Korver, Chris Kaman, and Cedric Ceballos, and every player in between. Each season, we see Hall of Fame suitors like Steph Curry, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Nikola Jokic tally up their selections to the annual event, but we also see new faces break the plane to play on that stage each year as well. In 2021, Mike Conley finally got called to the game in year 14 after being notoriously one of the longest tenured All-Star caliber guards to never receive the honor. In 2022, Fred VanVleet became just the 5th undrafted All-Star in NBA history, behind only Connie Hawkins, John Starks, Brad Miller, and the great Ben Wallace. Just this year in Indiana, we saw All-Star debuts of burgeoning franchise stars, the likes of Jalen Brunson, Tyrese Maxey, Paolo Banchero, and Scotty Barnes. One of the most exciting and admirable aspects of the game is seeing young faces come in each year and begin to carve out a successful individual career. With the game being in the Bay next year, this upcoming season is sure to gift us with more than a few first-time All-Stars. However, with so much talent blossoming in the league in the present day, who will be the All-Star Game's new rookies for 2025? Let's take a look at the candidates. A first good name to address, and frankly get out the way, would be Jamal Murray. Denver's second option throughout their current years of regular and postseason success, Murray has been a slow-burning candidate for All-Stardom in recent years. While being a 20-point-per-game scorer in his last 3 active seasons, Murray has faced attacks that many talented guards have fallen victim to over the past decade plus, playing in the Western Conference. And that's with being the second option on a team frequently finishing at the top of the conference. But when you consistently have to compete with generation-defining guards throughout your peak years, the likes of Steph Curry, Dame Lillard, James Harden, Devin Booker, Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, Donovan Mitchell, etc., it gets tremendously difficult to break that glass ceiling, whether you can play with Nikola Jokic or not. Addressing that elephant in the room of a factor, how can Murray finally become an All-Star in 2025? Well, you would have to take a marginal leap in his offensive output. With Denver's perennial success, even if Murray took a bump from 21 to 23 or 24 points per game, he would stand out exponentially more in the eyes of voters and fans alike. His current momentum exiting the regular season has not been encouraging, shooting poorly in the 2024 playoffs and laying a giant stinky egg in the Paris Olympics playing for his home country Canada. Murray would have to come in aggressively and with a chip on his shoulder to truly impress for his All-Star campaign. With the loss of Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, perhaps a few extra points per possession can open up for Jamal. However, he still has to share the Nuggets' offensive load with definite All-Star Jokic as well as scoring specialist Michael Porter Jr., who's been a career 50-40-80 shooter on 60% efficiency throughout his young career. His direct competition in the West would come from aforementioned guards like Curry, Doncic, and Booker, as well as similarly young stars who have produced enough to already become perennial All-Stars like John Morant and De'Aaron Fox, as well as new age superstars like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Anthony Edwards. Speaking of Gilgeous-Alexander, let's talk about some of his teammates and the unique positioning of the OKC Thunder going into this season. The Oklahoma City Thunder produced a phenomenal season last year that resulted in the first seed in the West and the franchise's first playoff appearance in 4 years, as well as its first series win since the 2016 run of Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. achieving this feat whilst being the second youngest team on average in the NBA, and without having a truly seasoned veteran make up at least one of the team's top 8 contributors. Following that stupendous season, the Thunder built upon their roster by adding some of the league's premier role players in Alex Caruso and Isaiah Hartenstein, and now the team is expected to be at the top of the West yet again. In conventional NBA voting and perception, being the 1 seed greatly boosts your chances of getting more than one star called to the All-Star game. And we all know MVP runner-up SGA will return to the event in 2025, but which of his teammates could join him in San Francisco? The first culprit is without a doubt Jalen J-Dub Williams. Williams just came off of a bizarrely efficient and stupendous sophomore season in the league where he found himself becoming the second option for the best team in a stacked conference and finished just outside the 3 finalists for Most Improved Player, averaging 19 a night at a 54% clip, as well as notching a superb 42% from beyond the arc on 3 attempts. The trademark third-year leap, commonly seen in star players, will be sure to put J-Dub over the top for All-Star consideration in tandem with another dominant regular season from OKC. Truthfully speaking, the players in his way from getting that nod isn't a difficult road either, all things considered. With Williams being a forward, the only guys in his path are very seasoned veterans like LeBron, Kawhi, and Kevin Durant. Superstars in this league for sure, but names that are also extremely probable to be unavailable for the game due to injury. A name like Paul George departing the conference just as the league has returned to the East-West format is also a significant factor. The Pelicans duo of Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram have lingered in and out of that spot the last few seasons, but again, team success will put J-Dub the extra mile. Additionally, we'll have to strongly consider the Thunder's current third option, Chet Holmgren. After missing what would have been his true rookie year in the 2022-23 season, Chet finally hit the floor for OKC, and he hit the ground running with a stellar campaign of 16 points, 18 boards, and 2 blocks a night. In any other year, he very well may have ran away with the Rookie of the Year award, but we'll delve into the reason for that shortly. Regardless, at just 22 years old, Holmgren has marked his ground on the league as one of the NBA's best defenders. Statistically speaking, Chet passed the eye test on his otherworldly knack for shot blocking, easily being one of the best 5 rim protectors in the league. Pair that with the Thunder's expectation for high team success and Chet's volume shooting for his position and role, his chances of taking the additional offensive bump beneficial for All-Star selection are high. Of course, there are bigs like Anthony Davis and Nikola Jokic who will make the game before Chet. However, if the Thunder are winning, his odds can rise higher than other names like Karl Anthony Towns and Domantas Sabonis, potentially seeing the rare occurrence of having 3 All-Star honorees on one roster in the same season. Flipping over to the East, a potential All-Star can be found in one of the conference's emerging teams, the Orlando Magic. While 2022's first pick, Paolo Banchero, elevated his game to All-Star selection in his sophomore year, his third-year running mate, Franz Wagner, greatly contributed to Orlando's return to playoff contention, falling just 1 game shy of the franchise's first series win in 15 years. Franz is one of the most improved young stars in the NBA year over year. Despite an ugly shooting season from behind the arc, Wagner was incredibly close to breaking the 20-point per game plane. Getting the 3 ball to trend upwards again may easily see the forward put up 21 to 22 a night, as the Magic look to retain a similar position in the East as they had last season. While a steep task, a top 4 positioning in the standings may be enough to reward the Magic with 2 All-Stars next year. With that being said, the East Reserve Vault of All-Star forwards will already be occupied with players like Paul George, Jaylen Brown, Scotty Barnes, and Banchero. So we would have to see quite the season from Franz and Orlando alike for the wing to get the nod. With his stellar performance in the Paris Olympics with Germany and the Magic's productive offseason, that path is not impossible. Another Eastern team with a peculiar star situation is the Cleveland Cavaliers. While Donovan Mitchell has remained at the top of his position and will continue to be a perennial All-Star starter in the coming years, 2022 All-Star Darius Garland has been trying to return to form in the season since, clashing with injuries and a questionable fit in Cleveland's backcourt since Spider's arrival. Then there is Evan Mobley, the 6'11 power forward who has been good for 15-9 for just as long as he's been in the league. Mobley came off of a season where he notched yet another marginal jump in efficiency from 55% in 2023 to 58% from the field in 2024. However, his overall year was a net loss in comparison to his second season in the NBA, where an astronomical defensive effort alongside Jarrett Allen helped Mobley become a DPOY finalist at only 22. Whether it was due to a nagging ankle injury or a shift in role due to Allen's availability, Mobley will look to bounce back in a new system under Kenny Atkinson. Making it out of a contract year and just receiving a max contract, expectations for Mobley will be deservedly high. He will have to be more aggressive offensively, working on his outside shot, his passing ability, and general shot creation. If these factors pan out in tandem with the stabilized success of the Cavs next season, Mobley can catch a reigning All-Star on a down year and sneak into a reserve slot for 2025. Returning west, we have Rockets center Alperen Sengun. Often hailed as Baby Jokic, Sengun was a prospect expected to leap into becoming a great player. However, his ascent to a 21-9-5 guy for Houston was a sharp and refreshing thing to see. Unfortunately, his season was cut short due to a rough ankle injury, but Alperen Sengun has already arrived. Just like Houston just missed the cut for the postseason last year, Alp just missed the cut for an All-Star selection. And with Ime Udoka's revolution brewing in Houston, the Rockets look to break through into the playoff picture this year. If that does become the case, it may be hard to deny the 22-year-old a spot in the All-Star game. Sengun's statistical improvement and production have been exponential in every preceding season, and the young big could genuinely torch into All-NBA consideration if the year goes right for the Rockets. While most other players on this short list have some limitations that could self-sabotage their chances of making the All-Star game, I truly believe any factor that would keep Sengun from being named an All-Star next year will be hinged on team performance. Before we address the obvious and inevitable new addition to the 2025 NBA All-Star game, I do want to go through some honorable mentions. Players that I wouldn't be too surprised if they found their way to the Bay, perhaps as an injury replacement or otherwise. First, I have Desmond Bane. Despite missing half the season in his own right, Bane took up the task of the first option in Ja Morant's absence and shot a career-high 18 attempts a night, racking up nearly 24 points per game as one of the league's most underrated scorers last year. I am high on the Grizzlies in the full-time return of Morant, and if Memphis can get back to similar standing in 2022, then it wouldn't be far-fetched to see the team receive a second All-Star nod alongside Ja, where Bane could join 12 and Jaren Jackson Jr. as young Grizz All-Stars. A peculiar case is Kyle Kuzma. Despite the Wizards being a rather pathetic on-court product since he arrived, he had considerate buzz as a reserve even last season, where he finished with 22, 6, and 4, albeit with questionable efficiency. Bringing in guys like Brogdon and Valanciunas shows that DC has somewhat of a desire to improve next year, and Kuzma's ability to stay healthy could come through clutch if it comes down to the need for an injury replacement. The new role-player duo in New York of Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby, also known as Wingstop, could jump into the All-Star game as well. New York would absolutely have to be the second seed minimum, and a guy like Julius Randle would have to become an odd man out for this to happen. However, I don't see the vision. Mikal has shown to simply not be meant to be a 20-point-per-game scorer and thrives in a different role. And while OG has shown flashes as a scorer in his own right, as well as being marginally better as a defender than Bridges, he simply cannot stay healthy to save his life. The Raptors fan in me couldn't go without mentioning RJ Barrett. His time in New York was heavily criticized and ultimately underwhelming, yet his showing in the 32-game sample size we have of him playing for home, as well as his recent Olympic performance, has given me life. But with Toronto set to have another year on the wrong side of the play-in and Scotty Barnes already being cemented as an all-star and the face of the Raptors' future, it may just be too early to call Barrett for an all-star on a roster. Of course, it wouldn't be fun unless we talked about an incoming rookie, and that's where we have Cooper Flagg. The main event and the number one pick of general consensus has shown that he can hang with the best of the NBA already, and while no rookie is invincible against some pitfalls like the rookie wall, if Flagg ends up on a franchise like the Nets, it would be easy for him to rack up empty stats on a nothing-burger team that may seem eye-popping for a rook to all-star voters. That being said, don't seriously expect to see a rookie in the all-star game next year. Last, but certainly not least, we have the alien superstar Victor Wembanyama. 21 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, and a league-leading 3.6 blocks in under 30 minutes a night. Unanimous Rookie of the Year, All-Defensive First Team, and just vote shy of becoming Defensive Player of the Year. That was year 1 of the Wemby experience. Turning 21 years old next year, Basketball Reference projects Victor to have a per 36 output of 26, 12, and 5 with a steal and 4 blocks. And with the acquisition of Chris Paul, the Spurs will look to benefit from the CP3 effect and improve substantially, adding much needed floor general talent and orchestration whilst retaining complementary offensive pieces like Devin Vassell and Keldon Johnson. There doesn't need to be any hypotheticals here. Wemby will be an all-star next year, and I, for one, am excited to see what extraterrestrial highlights he'll create on that stage. With that being said, who do you want to see become an all-star this season? Let me know in the comments below, and thank you for watching. Peace. Real quick, I just want to let you guys know we surpassed 500 subscribers. We're actually at 600 right now, and we are YouTube partners. So yeah, clap it up guys, thank you. And with that, I am going to launch a membership. We're gonna do a channel membership. Base one is called Studio 54, $2 a month, and it just gives you guys, priority replying to comments, loyalty badges, of course. That's like the base membership feature. But I have some emojis for you guys. I have some emojis made by my phenomenal girlfriend. She made these emojis. I'm putting them on the screen right now. So $2 a month, access to those, early comment replies, but also member-only polls. So you guys got input on, new video ideas, what you want to see the videos to be about, anything of that nature. And then we have VIP tier. I only did 2 tiers. VIP tier, $5 a month. Same perks as the base level, but also member shoutouts at the end of each video. And most importantly, early access to new content. I'll probably say like a day or 2 before the rest of the public will see it. $5 a month, early access to content. So I just want to thank you guys again for just supporting the channel. All the love and engagement on that very first video has already paid off, gone a long way for me to be able to be a YouTube partner. So really just want to announce the membership. Join if you like, and thank you for the love and thank you for watching.